Chapter 1. The Forgotten Relic. In the cold, endless darkness of the void, where the light of stars barely reached and the silence was deeper than any ocean, drifted a relic from a time long past. A colossal alien cruiser, its once proud hull scarred and battered, corroded by the ceaseless passage of time and the merciless vacuum of space. This was no ordinary wreckage, no mere casualty of forgotten skirmishes. It was a monument to a civilization's former glory, a vessel whose very name whispered legends across star systems, yet untouched by human history. Yet, despite its grandeur and the power it once wielded, it had been forsaken, abandoned by the very beings who had crafted it. Left to languish in a neglected orbit around a cold, dying star on the periphery of explored space, the cruiser had become a tomb, a floating testament to lost ambition and faded wars. For most in the galaxy, this hulking mass of metal was nothing more than space debris, an obstacle to be avoided, or at best, scavenged for whatever remnants of value might be pried loose by salvage crews. But Elias Mercer, a human mechanic and self-taught engineer with an insatiable hunger for challenge and discovery, saw something altogether different. Where others saw ruin and hopeless decay, Elias saw a sleeping giant, a dormant powerhouse waiting for the touch of a skilled hand to awaken it from its long slumber. His interest wasn't born of greed or the promise of instant riches. It was a matter of pride, curiosity, and a deep-seated belief in humanity's ingenuity and resilience. He was determined to prove that even the most ancient and alien machines could be tamed and reborn through human skill and tenacity. The journey to reach this forgotten cruiser had been perilous and exhausting. Elias piloted his battered freighter across sectors where navigation charts were unreliable, where space pirates lurked in shadowed nebulae, and where supply stations were few and far between. The rumors he followed were whispered in hushed-toned stories of a vessel that once turned entire fleets to dust, its advanced shields and weaponry unmatched by any known technology. The cruiser had belonged to the Zeltheri, an enigmatic alien race renowned for their technological prowess and ruthless efficiency in warfare. But then, inexplicably, the Zeltheri vanished from galactic records, their empires crumbling without a trace, leaving behind only echoes of their existence and ships like this, drifting aimlessly as relics of a bygone era. When Elias finally approached the cruiser, the sight struck him with a strange mixture of awe and melancholy. The ship was massive beyond ordinary scale, stretching hundreds of meters in length and breadth, its hull a mosaic of alien alloys shimmering faintly beneath layers of cosmic dust. Countless scars marred its surface, deep gouges from laser blasts, torn metal from collision, and faded symbols that spoke of a proud heritage now all but lost to time. The main thrusters, though cold and inert, hinted at the raw power the vessel once commanded, while the broadside weapon arrays still jutted defiantly, their intricate designs a marvel of engineering even in this dilapidated state. Boarding the cruiser was an exercise in careful exploration and cautious optimism. The airlock hissed open with ancient pneumatic groans, revealing interior corridors choked with silence and shadows. The once gleaming control decks were dim, panels flickering weakly under failing power reserves. Dust motes floated in the low gravity, disturbed only by Elias's careful steps and the soft hum of his portable diagnostic tools. Everywhere he looked, the ship spoke of grandeur and abandonment. Holographic consoles covered in faded symbols, maintenance bots long deactivated, and storage bays packed with forgotten technology whose functions were often inscrutable. Yet, beneath the decay, Elias found the heartbeat of the ship, the core systems that still pulsed faintly with residual energy, evidence of the extraordinary power source at its center. The Zeltheri had integrated alien crystal matrices with fusion reactors in ways no human engineer had ever encountered. Understanding this hybrid technology would require not just skill, but intuition and a willingness to embrace the unknown. Elias worked tirelessly, day and night, navigating the ship's labyrinthine systems, deciphering alien codes, and jury-rigging power conduits with whatever spare parts he could scavenge from his own ship or the cruiser's forgotten storerooms. The deeper Elias delved, the more he realized the potential locked within this ancient vessel. The cruiser's shield generators, though offline, still held the capacity to project energy fields orders of magnitude stronger than any human-made defense system. Its engines, if reactivated, promised speeds that could outrun the fastest interceptors known to the galactic fleets. And its weapons arrays, once silent, were capable of devastating volleys that could turn the tide of any battle. But beyond its firepower and speed, the cruiser possessed a dormant AI semi-sentient core that had been placed in stasis, awaiting reactivation by a worthy custodian. For Elias, reawakening this AI was both a daunting challenge and a beacon of hope. The core contained knowledge and systems that could not only restore the cruiser, but elevate it beyond its original design. It was a fusion of ancient alien wisdom and evolving technology, and Elias sensed that forging a bond with this intelligence could transform the ship into a living legend once more. Yet, the risks were immense. The AI's directives were locked in cryptic protocols designed for wartime control, and any misstep could trigger catastrophic defenses or permanent shutdown. Despite the obstacles, Elias persevered. He spent countless hours decoding fragments of the AI's programming, piecing together the history of the cruiser's last battles, and learning the intricacies of the alien systems. Each breakthrough was a triumph, a step closer to restoring the forgotten giant to its rightful place in the stars. Slowly but surely, power flowed back into the cruiser's veins, lights flickered on across its decks, and the dormant systems began to stir. The transformation was not just mechanical, but symbolic. Word of Elias's work spread through the fringe colonies and merchant hubs, drawing curious eyes and cautious allies. Many doubted that a lone human mechanic could resurrect a vessel born of alien science and war. But Elias was driven by more than pride. He was fueled by a vision of renewal, a belief that even the most forsaken machines could be reborn into instruments of protection and progress rather than destruction. As the cruiser's core systems hummed steadily, and the first test of its restored engines stirred the silence of space, Elias stood on the bridge, gazing out at the glittering stars beyond. The path ahead was uncertain, fraught with challenges from rival factions who coveted the cruiser's power and unknown threats lurking in the dark. But Elias was ready. He had turned the abandoned scrap into a vessel of legend, a symbol of what human determination and ingenuity could achieve against all odds. The cruiser was no longer lost. It was alive. The cruiser's corridors, once bustling with alien crew, were now ghostly corridors lined with twisted wires, flickering consoles, and panels coated in dust and corrosion. Elias moved through the shadows with the ease of a man accustomed to solitude and hardship. His every step echoed against metal walls that had long forgotten the warmth of life. And yet, within the eerie silence, he sensed a dormant heartbeat, a latent power waiting to be stirred. The initial scans revealed extensive damage from both external assaults and the relentless ravages of time. Critical systems had failed, power grids severed, and the ship's AI core was isolated behind multiple layers of security protocols designed to prevent unauthorized access. Elias knew that restoring the ship to operational status would require not just mechanical skill, but a mastery of alien technology that surpassed anything recorded in human databases. Yet, his determination only grew stronger. This was no mere salvage mission, it was a resurrection. Days blended into nights as Elias labored tirelessly. He repaired broken conduits with makeshift parts scavenged from the cruiser's vast storerooms, rewired damaged circuits with precision, and coaxed ancient fusion cells back to life using a combination of human ingenuity and reverse-engineered alien components. Every breakthrough was a spark of hope, a flicker of life returning to the once mighty warship. In the depths of the engineering bay, Elias uncovered the dormant AI core, a crystalline structure pulsing faintly with an otherworldly light, encased within a protective containment field. Activating it was a gamble. The AI might be hostile, corrupted, or irreparably damaged. With steady hands and a clear mind, Elias initiated the reactivation sequence, watching as the crystal glowed brighter, the ship's internal systems shuddering to life. The AI's voice was at first a whisper, a soft hum of synthetic consciousness awakening after decades of silence. It spoke in a language Elias could barely comprehend, but through painstaking translation and the ship's own emergency protocols, communication was established. The AI, identifying itself as Seraph, revealed fragments of the cruiser's history, a vessel designed not only for war, but as a bastion of protection, carrying the last hope of a civilization that had vanished without warning. As trust grew between mechanic and machine, Elias gained access to the ship's advanced system shields that could absorb energy blasts far beyond human capabilities, engines capable of near-light speeds, and weapons arrays designed to disable entire fleets. But the most astonishing discovery was the ship's potential to adapt and evolve. Its systems were semi-sentient, capable of learning and improving through use. News of Elias's success began to ripple through the outer colonies and starports. Whispers spoke of the human who had revived the legendary Zelthari cruiser, turning scrap into a vessel that could once again command the stars. Yet with fame came danger. Rival factions, scavengers, and remnants of the Zelthari's enemies soon set their sights on the cruiser, eager to claim its power for themselves. Elias understood that his task had only begun. The cruiser was a symbol of resilience and rebirth, but also a beacon that would attract threats. He vowed to master the ship, to forge it into a legend not just of war, but of hope, a testament to human determination and the boundless possibilities that lay within even the most abandoned and broken things. Standing on the bridge, Elias looked out into the vastness of space, the cruiser's systems humming steadily beneath his hands. The stars awaited, and so did the challenges ahead. The scrap had become a legend reborn, and he was its maker. As Elias continued his meticulous exploration of the cruiser, he encountered evidence of the alien crew's sudden disappearance, personal quarters left untouched, logs abruptly ending, and mysterious stasis chambers sealed tight. The cruiser was a puzzle wrapped in mystery, a monument to a vanished people whose fate remained unknown. But Elias's focus was clear: breathe life back into this titan of space. Working day and night, Elias became one with the ship's vast labyrinth, bridging the gulf between human technology and the enigmatic alien systems. His tools were old-fashioned by some standards: wrenches, soldering irons, diagnostic tablets, but his understanding of machinery was unparalleled. Slowly, he restored power to vital systems. Lights flickered on, environmental controls hummed softly, and the inert engines shuddered with the promise of motion. The cruiser was waking. The breakthrough came when Elias finally interfaced with the ship's AI core Seraph. Its crystalline matrix pulsed with soft light, projecting holographic star charts and data streams across the bridge. The AI's voice, though alien, carried a tone of cautious curiosity, as if uncertain what to make of this unexpected human custodian. Through patient negotiation and careful trust-building, Elias gained access to the ship's secret's advanced shield generators, propulsion systems capable of incredible speeds, and weapons technologies beyond human imagination. News of Elias's feat spread through the spaceports and colonies like wildfire. The human mechanic had done what many thought impossible. He had restored the scrapped alien cruiser to operational status. But the ship's revival attracted attention, some friendly, others far more dangerous. Elias realized that the cruiser was no longer just a project. It was a beacon. And with that beacon came threats that would test every ounce of his skill, courage, and resolve. Chapter 2: Awakening the Legend. The first test of the cruiser's restored systems was a cautious one. Elias initiated a slow power-up of the engines and shield arrays, feeling the ship's energy surge through conduits and circuits that had lain dormant for centuries. The vibration beneath his feet was subtle but exhilarating, the heartbeat of a legendary vessel stirring back to life. Outside the cruiser, the void stretched endlessly, but Elias knew the galaxy was watching. Reports of his success had reached distant factions, mercenaries, rival scavengers, and remnants of alien empires who coveted the cruiser's technology. Many doubted a mere human could tame such an ancient marvel. Others feared the consequences if he succeeded. As the cruiser's sensors scanned the nearby star systems, Elias noticed an unusual signal, a faint, coded distress beacon emanating from a nearby asteroid field. Against better judgment, but driven by instinct, he altered course toward the source, knowing this would be the first real challenge of the revived ship. Navigating the treacherous asteroid belt tested every system Elias had restored. The ship's AI, Seraph, now fully engaged, guided maneuvers with precision, deploying defensive shields and auxiliary thrusters to avoid collisions. The synergy between man and machine grew stronger with each passing moment, a dance of trust and command. At the heart of the asteroid field, they discovered the source, a small, battered freighter under attack by a band of ruthless space pirates. The freighter's shields were failing, and its crew was desperate. Elias made a split-second decision he would intervene. Activating the cruiser's weapons array for the first time in centuries, Elias felt a surge of power and responsibility. The alien technology responded with devastating efficiency, disabling the pirate vessels with pinpoint accuracy while minimizing collateral damage. The pirates retreated, and the freighter's crew was saved. As the rescued freighter limped away, Elias stood on the bridge, the cruiser's systems glowing softly around him. The legend was awakening not just in metal and circuits, but in purpose. This ship, once abandoned and forgotten, was ready to carve a new destiny among the stars. The aftermath of the skirmish in the asteroid field left Elias with more questions than answers. The small freighter he had saved was of human design, heavily modified for survival in the fringes of space. Its crew, grateful but wary, shared fragmented tales of growing unrest throughout the outer colony's pirate factions becoming bolder, and whispers of a looming conflict fueled by old grudges and emerging powers. For Elias, the cruiser had become more than a machine. It was a potential shield for those who lived in the shadows of galactic civilization, a symbol of hope for the oppressed. Back aboard the cruiser, the atmosphere was electric. Systems once silent now sang with renewed life. Propulsion arrays hummed steadily, weapon systems calibrated with precision, and defensive grids shimmered with energy fields ready to be deployed. Elias's bond with the AI core, Seraph, deepened with every passing cycle. The AI's capacity for learning and adaptation was remarkable. It analyzed human tactics, adjusted system responses, and even developed new protocols to counter threats previously unknown to the ancient cruiser. Despite this progress, challenges remained. The cruiser's hybrid technology was a double-edged sword. Its alien components often behaved unpredictably when interfaced with human machinery. Power surges, erratic data streams, and unexplained system resets became common occurrences. Elias spent long hours in the engineering bay, troubleshooting and improvising solutions, driven by a relentless desire to understand and master the ship's complexities. One evening, as the red glow of a nearby nebula bathed the ship in eerie light, Elias received a coded transmission through the cruiser's communication array. The message was fragmented but unmistakable, a distress call from a nearby mining colony under siege by a well-armed mercenary band. The colony's defenses were overwhelmed, and desperate pleas for aid echoed through the comm channels. Without hesitation, Elias set a course for the colony. The cruiser's engines roared to life, accelerating smoothly as it left the asteroid belt behind. The journey was tense. Every moment brought the possibility of ambush or sabotage. Yet, with Serapha's guidance and the cruiser's formidable capabilities, Elias felt a growing confidence that they could face whatever awaited. Approaching the mining colony, Elias observed the destruction wrought by the mercenaries' burning outposts, disabled defense turrets, and fleeing civilians struggling to escape the chaos. The cruiser's sensors detected enemy ships orbiting the planet, preparing for a final assault. Elias's mind raced through tactical options. Direct confrontation was risky, but the cruiser's advanced weaponry and shields provided a significant advantage. He coordinated with the colony's remaining defenders, offering support and strategic advice through secure channels. As battle erupted once more, the cruiser unleashed its full might. Energy beams sliced through enemy fighters, while shield generators absorbed incoming fire with remarkable resilience. Elias maneuvered the cruiser with skill born of countless hours mastering its controls, dodging salvos, and striking with precision. The mercenaries were pushed back, their forces fragmented and retreating. The colony, though scarred, was saved. In the quiet after the storm, Elias reflected on the path ahead. The cruiser was no longer a forgotten relic. It was a living legend reborn through human determination and alien technology. But with every victory came new threats, new mysteries buried within the ship's ancient systems, and the growing realization that the galaxy was watching. Elias stood on the bridge, eyes fixed on the stars beyond. The journey had only just begun. The victory at the mining colony resonated far beyond the immediate sector. News traveled swiftly through channels frequented by traders, mercenaries, and political factions alike. A human had restored the legendary Zelthari cruiser and was wielding it not as a tool of conquest, but as a shield for the vulnerable. This sent ripples of awe, hope, and fear across the fractured galaxy. Inside the cruiser's vast engineering bay, Elias worked feverishly to refine the ship's systems. The hybrid nature of the technology and alien fusion crystal matrix combined with human retrofit modules was both a marvel and a mystery. Some days, the systems responded beautifully, their output surpassing even the original specs etched in ancient records. Other days, bizarre glitches erupted, subsystems would shut down inexplicably, holographic interfaces flickered with cryptic symbols, and power fluctuations threatened to destabilize core reactors. But Elias was undeterred. Each anomaly was a puzzle, each glitch a riddle demanding a solution. Drawing upon every scrap of knowledge, both human and salvaged alien data, he pushed the cruiser's capabilities farther than anyone had imagined possible. He found ways to integrate human-designed automation systems into the alien framework, creating redundancies that boosted reliability. With every improvement, the ship grew not only in power but in resilience. Meanwhile, Elias and Sereth, the AI core, forged an increasingly symbiotic partnership. Sereth's ancient intelligence carried the weight of centuries, but it was Elias's human intuition and adaptability that bridged the gap between past and present. Together, they reprogrammed weapons arrays for precision strikes, recalibrated shields to withstand modern energy weapons, and devised stealth protocols that allowed the cruiser to move unseen through contested sectors. Yet, the true test came unexpectedly. While patrolling a volatile border system, the cruiser intercepted an encrypted distress signal unlike any Elias had encountered before. It was a call for help from a clandestine research outpost deep within uncharted space, a facility rumored to be experimenting with exotic energy sources and forbidden technology. Curiosity outweighed caution. Elias set course, aware that such missions could be traps laid by those who coveted the cruiser's growing legend or sought to harness its power for darker purposes. The journey through dense asteroid fields and volatile cosmic storms pushed the cruiser's navigation systems to their limits, but it was also an opportunity to further prove the vessel's renewed strength. Arriving at the outpost, Elias found it abandoned, equipment still humming, data logs streaming incomplete records, but no sign of life. The air was thick with tension and the faint hum of unstable power sources. Through the cruiser's sensors, Elias detected a volatile energy core, dangerously close to meltdown. With Sereth's assistance, Elias began delicate stabilization protocols, carefully rerouting power, cooling reactors, and preventing a catastrophic explosion that could devastate the nearby star system. As he worked, encrypted files revealed the outpost's purpose: harnessing quantum energy from a nearby pulsar to fuel a new generation of Starship engines technology that, if controlled, could revolutionize space travel, but if misused, could trigger unimaginable destruction. The stakes were higher than ever. With the outpost stabilized, Elias understood that the cruiser's role had evolved beyond protection and restoration. It had become a guardian of knowledge and a beacon of hope amidst a galaxy fraught with danger and uncertainty. The cruiser was not just a ship, it was a legacy reborn, and Elias, its unlikely captain, was ready to face whatever challenges awaited. Chapter 3: Rising Threats. The revival of the legendary cruiser was no secret for long. Across star systems and trade routes, whispers turned into urgent reports: an ancient Zelthari warship, restored and commanded by a human, had returned to the void. To some, Elias Mercer was a hero, a symbol of human tenacity and hope. To others, rivals, warlords, and mercenaries, he was a threat that could not be ignored. As Elias and the AI core, Sereth, continued to push the cruiser's capabilities to new heights, the galaxy's darker undercurrents began to stir. Intelligence intercepts warned of approaching fleets, well-equipped mercenary bands hired by unknown patrons with vested interests in seizing or destroying the cruiser. The stakes had escalated from isolated skirmishes to full-scale confrontations that threatened the fragile peace of nearby colonies. On the cruiser's bridge, Elias pored over tactical data streaming from sensors and distant satellites. The ship's holographic displays flickered with the movement of hostile vessels converging from multiple directions, converging toward the sector like a storm. The cruiser's weapon systems were fully operational now, calibrated with devastating precision, but even their formidable power was challenged by the scale of the impending assault. Saratha's voice broke the tension, calm and analytical. Multiple hostile signatures detected. Estimated fleet strength exceeds current cruiser defensive capabilities by a factor of 3. Engagement likely. Elias clenched his fists. He had dreamed of restoration and renewal, not war. But the cruiser was no longer a silent relic, it was a beacon, and beacons drew both allies and enemies alike. His decisions in the next moments would shape not just his fate, but the fate of countless innocents relying on his courage. The first contact came swiftly. A volley of energy blasts streaked across space, illuminating the void with deadly arcs of plasma fire. The cruiser's shields flared, absorbing the barrage, as Elias ordered retaliatory strikes targeting the enemy's flagship. Each move was a test of skill and nerve, a deadly dance orchestrated between man and machine. Amid the chaos, communications scrambled with desperate pleas from nearby colonies under threat. Elias vowed silently that the cruiser would not be a weapon of destruction, but a shield for those who had none. As battle raged, alliances shifted and secrets emerged, revealing a deeper conspiracy tied to the cruiser's ancient origins, one that challenged everything Elias thought he knew. The legend was rising once more, and the fight for the future of the galaxy had truly begun. The void around the cruiser was alive with the deadly ballet of war-shimmering blasts of plasma tore through the darkness, while the cruiser's shields flickered under the relentless assault. Elias felt the ship's vibrations through the reinforced deck beneath his feet, a visceral reminder of the stakes at hand. Every maneuver was a gamble, every decision a lifeline. Sarath, the ship's AI core, processed incoming data with lightning speed, predicting enemy vectors, calculating shield harmonics, and adjusting weapons targeting systems in real time. Together, Elias and Sarath acted as one, a fusion of human instinct and alien precision, a symphony of survival against overwhelming odds. Yet, even with their combined prowess, the enemy was relentless. Fleets of mercenaries, backed by shadowy financiers and rogue factions, pressed their advantage, exploiting weaknesses and probing for openings. The cruiser's weaponry, once silent relics, now unleashed torrents of energy, carving through enemy hulls and dispersing boarding craft. Defensive turrets spun with ferocious speed, intercepting missiles and drones with unerring accuracy. Amid the chaos, communications channels crackled with frantic transmissions. Nearby colonies, caught in the crossfire of this escalating conflict, broadcast pleas for evacuation and reinforcements. Elias's resolve hardened. The cruiser was not just a machine, it was a guardian, a fortress in the void, and he its unwavering defender. Between volleys, Elias seized moments to strategize. He coordinated with scattered human and alien allies, rallying fragmented fleets into cohesive defense lines. The cruiser's advanced sensor arrays detected subtle anomalies, cloaked ships, electronic warfare tactics, and sabotage attempts that hinted at a deeper conspiracy orchestrated by forces desperate to reclaim or destroy the ancient technology embodied in the cruiser. Saratha's voice, calm amidst the storm, relayed a troubling revelation. Encrypted data recovered from enemy transmissions suggested that the cruiser's reactivation was no accident, but part of a calculated gambit. A secret faction within the remnants of the Zeltheri civilization, long believed extinct, sought to use the cruiser as a pawn in their quest for resurgence and domination. Elias grappled with the weight of this knowledge. The cruiser's destiny was entangled with ancient vendettas and galactic power struggles that transcended time. But he refused to be a mere instrument of fate. Drawing upon every lesson learned in the ship's revival, every bit of human ingenuity and alien technology at his command, he prepared for the inevitable confrontation with these hidden adversaries. As the battle raged on, Elias made a silent vow beneath the cold stars, to protect the cruiser, its secrets, and the fragile hope it represented. The legend was no longer just about restoration. It was about survival, resistance, and the forging of a new future in the crucible of war. The battle around the cruiser intensified, the void punctuated by streaks of light as weapons fire crisscrossed in deadly patterns. Elias's hands moved swiftly over the control panels, each command deliberate and precise. The cruiser responded like a living beast, its alien technology humming in perfect harmony with human ingenuity. Shields flared to absorb incoming blasts. Energy weapons carved swaths through enemy formations, and automated drones darted out to intercept boarding parties. Yet the enemy's numbers were vast, and their tactics ruthless. Suddenly, the cruiser shuddered violently as a massive explosion rocked the aft section. Elias's heart pounded as he raced to the engineering bay, finding critical damage to one of the main reactor conduits. With no time to lose, he coordinated rapid repairs, working alongside automated repair drones and the ship's AI to stabilize the core before a catastrophic failure could occur. The tension was palpable, every second counted. Back on the bridge, Sareth intercepted a distress signal from the enemy fleet, a coded surrender request from the mercenary flagship's captain. Elias hesitated. Victory was within reach, but at what cost? He gave the order to stand down, offering terms that would spare lives and prevent further devastation. The enemy accepted, retreating with wary respect for the cruiser's power and its human pilot. As silence returned, Elias reflected on the battle's true meaning. The cruiser was more than a weapon, it was a symbol of resilience and hope, a bridge between past and future. But shadows lingered. The revelation of the Zelthari faction's involvement hinted at challenges still to come. Chapter 4: Legacy of the Cruiser. With the immediate threat repelled, Elias set about consolidating the cruiser's restored status. The ship became a mobile hub of innovation, diplomacy, and defense, welcoming allies from diverse worlds and offering protection to those caught in the galaxy's turbulent politics. Workshops buzzed with activity as engineers refined systems, scientists studied alien technologies, and strategists planned for the uncertain future. Elias's role evolved beyond mechanic to leader and ambassador. Guided by Sareth's ancient wisdom and his own human intuition, he forged alliances that transcended old rivalries. The cruiser's legendary status grew not as a harbinger of war, but as a beacon of unity and progress. Yet, the past was never far behind. Cryptic messages intercepted from deep space hinted at the return of the vanished Zelthari civilization, their intentions unknown but unmistakably focused on reclaiming their lost legacy. Elias understood that the cruiser's journey was far from over. It was now a key player in a cosmic saga that would shape the fate of countless worlds. Standing on the bridge, Elias gazed at the stars stretching endlessly before him. The cruiser, once scrapped and abandoned, had been reborn through determination, courage, and a fusion of human and alien genius. Its legend was no longer a tale of the past, but a living story unfolding among the stars. And Elias Mercer was ready to write the next chapter. The days following the battle were a whirlwind of activity aboard the cruiser. Elias found himself not only overseeing repairs and upgrades, but also navigating the complex politics and fragile alliances that had begun to form around the legendary vessel. The cruiser had become a symbol, a rallying point for those who sought stability amid the chaos of the galaxy's outer reaches. Delegates from distant colonies and independent factions arrived to negotiate, trade, and forge bonds of mutual protection. In the sprawling hangars, workshops buzzed with the harmonious blend of alien technology and human innovation. Engineers experimented with the cruiser's unique power core, attempting to unlock its full potential without destabilizing its delicate balance. Scientists pored over ancient data logs recovered from the ship's AI core, uncovering fragments of the Zelthari's history, culture, and technology that had been lost to time. Every breakthrough was a step toward securing the future. Elias often found himself in the ship's observation deck during the long nights, staring out into the star-studded void. The cruiser, once a forgotten relic, now gleamed with renewed purpose. Its hull, polished and reinforced, reflected distant suns as a testament to human perseverance and alien marvel. He could feel the subtle pulse of the ship's core beneath his feet, a heartbeat renewed, steady, and strong. Yet, beneath the surface of this newfound hope lurked unease. Intelligence reports hinted at movements within the Shadow's clandestine Zelthari remnants gathering strength, enigmatic fleets appearing on the edges of explored space, and whispers of an ancient conflict rekindled. The cruiser's legend had awakened old powers, and the galaxy's delicate peace teetered on a knife's edge. Elias understood that his role was no longer that of a mechanic or even a commander. He was a guardian of legacy, a steward of both past and future. Together with Seraph, the AI core whose wisdom was tempered by centuries of existence, he devised plans not only for defense but for diplomacy. They sought to bridge gaps between species, to turn old enmities into alliances, and to protect the fragile tapestry of civilizations woven across the stars. Training crews from various worlds became a daily ritual. Elias taught them not just the operation of the cruiser's complex systems, but the values it represented: resilience, unity, and hope. Each new recruit was a thread in the growing network of defenders ready to face threats both known and unforeseen. One quiet moment, as the cruiser drifted through the serene expanse of a neutral star system, Elias received a transmission encoded with an ancient Zelthari signature. The message was brief but clear. "The legacy you carry is greater than you know. Prepare." The words echoed in his mind, a reminder that the cruiser's journey was far from over. The past and future were intertwined, and the battles ahead would demand every ounce of courage and wisdom they could muster. Standing on the bridge, Elias felt a profound connection not just to the ship beneath him, but to the countless lives it had touched and would continue to touch. The scrapped cruiser, once abandoned and forgotten, had become a legend reborn. The cruiser's transformation was more than mechanical, it was cultural. Elias watched as the once desolate ship blossomed into a vibrant nexus of cooperation. The crew, humans, aliens, and hybrids alike, worked side by side, blending ancient alien traditions with human ingenuity. Mess halls echoed with diverse languages, laughter, and the quiet hum of strategy meetings. Workshops thrummed with the rhythm of creation, as innovations born from collaboration pushed the ship's capabilities to heights even the original builders could scarcely imagine. Diplomatic missions launched from the cruiser's hangars, forging alliances with isolated colonies and rogue factions willing to lay down arms in exchange for protection and prosperity. Elias found himself negotiating with leaders whose trust had to be earned with patience and respect, his reputation as the mechanic who revived a legend lending weight to his words. The cruiser was no longer a weapon of war, but a beacon of hope, a symbol that even the most broken things could be made whole again. Yet, the shadows of the past loomed. The encoded warning from the Zelthari remnants was not idle. Reports streamed in of fleets amassing in the distant nebulae, their intentions veiled but their power unmistakable. The ancient conflict that had claimed so much before was stirring once more, and the cruiser would be at the heart of it. Elias prepared. Systems were upgraded, defenses hardened, and alliances strengthened. The AI, Seraph, worked tirelessly, analyzing every scrap of data, uncovering patterns, and crafting strategies. Elias himself trained tirelessly, honing his skills not only as a mechanic but as a commander and diplomat. The cruiser was ready, but readiness was not a guarantee of peace. On the eve of what many called the Second Awakening, Elias stood on the bridge, the stars stretching endlessly beyond the reinforced viewport. He reflected on the improbable journey, from a scrapped relic drifting in the void to a living legend uniting worlds. The weight of responsibility pressed on him, but so did the hope of a better future. The cruiser's engines hummed steadily, a heartbeat in the cosmic silence. Its story was far from over. Together, Elias and the cruiser would face whatever came, warriors of light against the gathering darkness. As the first signals of the approaching fleet pierced the void, Elias gave the order. "All hands, prepare for the next chapter." The stars watched in silent witness as the legend of the cruiser was written anew, this time not in the ashes of war, but in the hope of peace.